Hello everyone, welcome back to the series. Two fair-skinned sisters, round and adorable, surviving in the forest. Yesterday, while building a temporary shelter, because of the cold weather and the lack of blankets, the younger sister caught a cold. The older sister sat up, her eyes filled with worry. She turned to look at her sister, still lying there and unwilling to get up. Gently, she placed her hand on her sister's forehead. It felt unusually warm. Without hesitation, she took a small cloth pouch from her waist, pulling out a compact digital thermometer, one designed specifically for wilderness trips. She said nothing. The older sister nodded softly, as if making a decision, then stood up. She walked to the corner of the shelter where the stove was placed. It was a makeshift field stove, built from several large stones arranged in a U shape. The charcoal from last night was still smoldering beneath a layer of white ash. She picked up a fire-blowing tube, gently blowing to revive the dying embers. Then she carefully added some dry branches and pre-peeled eucalyptus bark. Thin wisps of smoke slowly began to rise. She used a plastic cola bottle, cutting off the bottom to make a simple water-filtering device. Silently, she picked up several smooth white pebbles by the stream. These stones had been washed clean yesterday and set aside. She then brought all the materials back to the shelter. A large cola bottle with its bottom removed, a thin piece of cloth, some clean sand, crushed charcoal, and a layer of small stones. After washing the pebbles and stones again, she placed them together with the charcoal. In no time, the filtering materials were ready. She then closed the bottle cap and went to fetch more water from the stream. The water was crystal clear, yet still contained impurities. Once the water was collected, she hurried back to the shelter because her sick sister was still waiting for her. She also tied ropes on both sides to make it easier to hang later. After that, she poked a small hole in the bottle cap so the water could slowly drip into a bowl below. The water filtering tool was finally complete. After that, she continued to gather some natural herbs from the surroundings to make medicine for her sister. She traveled through many parts of the forest, collecting herbs such as wild grasses, bidens, and needle-leaf plants. The process of gathering herbs went smoothly. She managed to collect quite a variety. Then she brought them to the stream to wash them thoroughly. Since the roots were needed, they were covered with a lot of soil. Do you recognize these herbs? They might look familiar. There are many of them growing naturally in Thailand as well. After washing them clean, the older sister brought them back to the shelter. She poured the filtered water into a teapot, then boiled it and let it cool slightly. This herbal water was poured into the inner chamber of the teapot, then heated again to extract the essence. A small amount of goji berries and red dates were added to enhance the flavor and make it easier to drink. The aroma slowly filled the shelter. The water had boiled, and the fever-reducing medicine was ready. The older sister gently blew on it to cool it down. Then she helped her sick sister sit up to drink the medicine. At least today, there was medicine to take. But the condition was still not fully cured. The younger sister, exhausted, fell back asleep. The older sister remained worried, unsure what else to do. Suddenly, an idea came to her. She decided to build a steam room for her younger sister. So, early the next morning, the older sister began her construction process. At dawn, she set out to gather the necessary materials to build a natural steam room in the wild. First, an essential ingredient was pomelo leaves, something easy to find in nature. She collected both the leaves and the fragrant pomelo blossoms. Next came mugwort leaves growing abundantly nearby. You could spot them almost immediately. Their smell was quite strong, but they worked wonders against colds. Then came Raimi leaves, lush and thriving, and the older sister happily gathered plenty of them. The ingredients were nearly complete, but steaming would not be complete without lemongrass. Lemongrass has a refreshing scent, repels mosquitoes, and helps relieve colds effectively. Just a handful was enough to fill the air with fragrance. After trimming the lemongrass neatly, she brought everything to the stream, washing the materials thoroughly. I'm not sure about you guys, but I wasn't watching the washing. I was watching something else. All the materials were placed together in a large pot, water was added, and everything was carried back to the shelter to be brought to a boil. But since there was no frame to support the pot, the older sister made a simple 3-legged tripod to hang the pot above the fire. The younger sister was still lying there, but today she had a blanket. If there was a blanket, why not use it from the beginning, right? The fire was burning well. Now all that was left was to wait for the water to boil, so it could be used for steaming. But the steam room was still not ready. The older sister had to continue building it. She stood up, took out a compact folding pocket saw, designed for forest use, and headed to an area with straight young trees. Their trunks were thin, about the width of a wrist. She carefully selected each tree. Bending down, she sawed them into sections about 1.5 meters long. Each piece was cut evenly to form the frame. After nearly an hour of steady work, she had gathered more than a dozen uniform wooden poles. She returned to the shelter and began arranging the poles into a semi-arched frame, shaped like a half-moon tent. She firmly planted the supports into the damp ground, then used strong forest vines to tie the joints together. Each knot was neat and secure, steady and precise, like someone well-trained. The ends were sharpened to make them easier to drive into the soil. She used a piece of wood to hammer the frame firmly into the ground. The skeleton of the steam room gradually took shape, sturdy yet flexible, with elasticity provided by the vines. After carefully checking its stability, she took out a large roll of mat she had brought along, used as rain cover or tarp. She began wrapping it around the entire frame, layer by layer. The dome was secured with more flexible branches, simple and practical. Each layer was wrapped tightly together, tight enough to retain heat, yet still block the wind. When most of it was sealed, she carefully used a small knife to cut a narrow L-shaped opening on the side. Just wide enough for one person to crawl through, she lifted it to form an entrance. The edge was reinforced with a bamboo stick for easy opening and closing. The steam room now stood fully formed, like a cocoon in the heart of the forest, shimmering softly under the early morning sunlight. The air outside was still chilly, but inside, warmth would soon build from the steam. The older sister returned to the stove, gathering clean stones to heat up. Everything was prepared for a gentle steam session to help her sister sweat, relax, and feel better. This part is a little eye candy for you guys. After that, they cook together, then slowly drift into sleep, bringing today's journey to an end. See you all again in the next videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Turn on the bell to catch the next survival series. Goodbye, and see you again.